Look into your surroundings right at this moment. Every object, every relationship, every outcome in your life tells a story about your standards. Some might surprise you with how they whisper about mediocrity while others stand tall, speaking volumes about excellence. But here's the raw truth that most people never grasp. Respect isn't something you can negotiate for or sweet-talk your way into. It's the natural outcome of the standards you set and maintain. Think about the last person who earned your genuine respect. Was it their words that moved you? No, it was their actions, their consistency, their unwavering commitment to their standards that made you step back and take notice. That's the first powerful truth about respect. It's not about what you say, it's about who you are in your quietest moments when nobody's watching. Your life right now is a perfect reflection of your standards. Every choice you've made, every habit you've formed, every relationship you've built or broken, they all add up to create the respect you command. If you're not receiving the respect you desire, it's time to face an uncomfortable truth. You need to raise your standards. I'm not here to hand you comfortable lies wrapped in motivation. I'm here to shake you awake to the power of your choices. Because right now, in this very moment, you hold the power to transform your life from one that begs for respect to one that naturally commands it. Let's talk about the bedrock of all respect, self-respect. Most people have it backwards. They think self-respect comes from achievements, from other people's approval, from the possessions they gather. But that's like trying to build a skyscraper starting from the top floor. Without a solid foundation, it's bound to collapse. True self-respect starts with your personal standards. These aren't the goals you write down once a year and forget about. These are your non-negotiables, the lines you won't cross, the promises you keep even when they're only made to yourself. Think about that for a moment. When you make a promise to yourself, do you treat with the same seriousness as a promise made to someone else? If not, you're undermining your own foundation. Your personal standards show up in the smallest details of your life. It's making your bed first thing in the morning, not because anyone will see it, but because excellence starts with the basics. It's keeping your word to yourself about that morning exercise, not because you'll see instant results, but because integrity matters in every decision. It's doing thorough work when no one's checking, not because you'll get immediate credit, but because quality is a statement about who you are. Most people live life at the mercy of their feelings. They exercise when they feel motivated. They work hard when they feel inspired. They keep their commitments when it feels convenient. But here's the truth about feelings. They're lousy architects for building a respectable life. Your habits, not your feelings, shape your destiny. Think about the habits you're practicing right now. Each one is either building your character or eroding it. There's no neutral ground. When you hit the snooze button instead of rising at your chosen time, you're not just losing a few minutes of your day. You're practicing the habit of breaking promises to yourself. When you leave tasks half finished, you're not just creating a backlog. You're reinforcing the habit of accepting mediocrity. But here's the good news. Habits work both ways. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you strengthen your character. Every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you build self-respect. Every time you finish what you start, you reinforce your identity as someone who delivers excellence. Your actions aren't just behaviors. They're votes for the type of person you're becoming. When you speak with honesty in a difficult situation, you're voting for integrity. When you persist through challenges instead of quitting, you're voting for resilience. When you choose discipline over comfort, you're voting for excellence. Over time, these votes add up to create your self-image. This relationship between actions and self-image is crucial to understand. Many people try to build their self-image through positive thinking or affirmations, but that's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. No amount of positive thinking can overcome the negative impact of consistently failing to live up to your own standards. Real confidence, the kind that commands respect, comes from knowing you can trust yourself. It comes from proving to yourself, day after day, that you're the kind of person who does what needs to be done, regardless of feelings or circumstances. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction and correction. Consider how you handle mistakes. Everyone makes them, but people with genuine self-respect respond differently. They don't make excuses or blame circumstances. They acknowledge the error, learn from it, and adjust their actions. They understand that mistakes don't define them. Their response to mistakes does. Your daily habits are the building blocks of your character. Start with the fundamentals. Do you keep your word to yourself? Do you finish what you start? Do you do quality work even in tasks you consider beneath you? These aren't small questions. They are the foundation of self-respect. Look at your environment, your home, your workspace, your car. These spaces reflect your standards. A cluttered space isn't just about poor organization. It's about tolerating disorder in your life. Every time you walk past something that needs to be fixed, organized, or cleaned, you're silently telling yourself that good enough is good enough for you. The relationship between your actions and your self-image is like a bank account. Every time you do what you know you should, you make a deposit. Every time you fall short of your standards, you make a withdrawal. The balance of this account determines your level of self-respect. And just like a financial account, you can't fake the numbers. Remember this. Self-respect isn't a feeling to pursue. It's a natural consequence of living by high standards. Set your standards high. Keep your promises to yourself. Finish what you start. Do quality work. Speak the truth. Face your fears. These aren't just actions. They're investments in your character. Most people drift through life like leaves in the wind, blown this way and that by circumstances, opinions, and social pressure. But you're not meant to be a leaf. You're meant to be the wind. This power lies in your ability to make deliberate choices, conscious decisions that shape your destiny. Every day you make hundreds of decisions. What time to wake up, what to eat, how to respond to challenges, what to focus on. Most people make these choices on autopilot, letting their immediate feelings or outside influences guide them. But here's something powerful I've learned. The quality of your life is directly proportional to the number of conscious decisions you make. Think about your last important decision. Did you make it based on careful thought about your values and long-term goals? Or did you make it based on what was easiest, what others expected, or what felt good in the moment? The difference between these approaches is the difference between creating a life and merely accepting one. Your brain is naturally wired to conserve energy by creating habits and patterns. That's useful for basic tasks, but dangerous when it comes to life's important choices. You need to wake up from autopilot. Start asking yourself, why am I doing this? Is this choice aligned with my values? Will this decision move me closer to or further from my goals? Most people around you are living on autopilot, following social scripts they never chose to accept. Get married by this age. Buy a house by that age. Work this type of job. Live in this type of neighborhood. Watch these shows. Buy these products. These aren't necessarily bad choices, but they're terrible choices if you're making them unconsciously, simply because that's what everyone else does. Breaking free from social conditioning isn't about rebelling against everything. It's about taking back your power to choose. It's about examining every significant choice in your life and asking, is this truly my decision, or am I just following a script someone else wrote for me? Look at your current job. Did you choose it deliberately based on your talents and aspirations, or did you fall into it because it was convenient, expected, or safe? Look at your daily routine. Did you design it to support your goals and values, or did it just happen to you over time? Taking responsibility for outcomes is where most people stumble. It's easier to blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck when things don't go as planned. But here's the truth that successful people understand. You might not be responsible for everything that happens to you, but you're responsible for how you respond to everything that happens to you. When you make a conscious decision, you own the outcome. If it works out well, you learn what leads to success. If it doesn't work out, you learn what needs to change. Either way, you grow. But when you let life happen to you, when you make unconscious choices, you rob yourself of these learning opportunities. Consider your current relationships. Every relationship in your life exists because of choices you made. Choices to spend time with certain people, choices to maintain certain connections, choices to accept certain behaviors. If your relationships aren't supporting your growth and happiness, it's time to make different choices. Your financial situation is the result of thousands of small choices about earning, spending, and saving. Your health, it's the product of countless choices about food, exercise, and rest. Your career, it's the outcome of decisions about education effort and opportunities. Nothing significant in your life is beyond the reach of your choices. The power to choose is your greatest asset, but like any asset, it needs to be used wisely. Start with awareness. Before making any significant decision, pause. Create space between the stimulus and your response. Ask yourself, what am I choosing here? Why am I choosing it? What will be the likely consequences of this choice? Most people want better lives, but aren't willing to make better choices. They want respect, but choose comfort over character. They want success, but choose distraction over discipline. They want growth, but choose safety over challenge. Remember, every choice has a price, and every price must be paid in full. Taking responsibility means accepting that you are the author of your life story. Sure, you don't control all the events that happen to you, but you control how you interpret them and respond to them. This isn't about blame. It's about power. When you take responsibility, you take back your power to change things. Start making deliberate choices about your time. It's your most precious resource. Stop letting other people's priorities hijack your day. Stop letting urgent but unimportant tasks crowd out what truly matters. Choose where your time goes instead of wondering where it went. The path to a respected life is paved with conscious choices. Choose your words carefully. They shape your relationships. Choose your habits intentionally. They shape your character. Choose your goals purposefully. They shape your future. Choose your responses thoughtfully. They shape your destiny. Remember, the decision you make is a vote for the person you're becoming. Make those votes count. Excellence isn't something you do occasionally. It's something you are consistently. It's not a destination you reach. It's a standard you maintain, and it's not limited to one area of life. True excellence permeates everything you touch, every relationship you build, every task you undertake. Let's start with professional excellence, because this is where most people spend the majority of their waking hours. The marketplace is brutally honest. It doesn't care about your excuses, your intentions, or your potential. It only cares about the value you deliver. Most people do just enough to keep their jobs. But that's like being proud of having just enough food to avoid starvation. Why settle for survival when you could thrive? Professional excellence starts with this mindset. Whatever you do it as if your signature goes on it. Whether you're sweeping floors or running a corporation, your work speaks about your character. When you handle small tasks with excellence, you build the habit of excellence that carries over to bigger challenges. Notice the people at the top of any field. They have this in common. They don't do different things. They do things differently. They take ordinary tasks and perform them in extraordinary ways. They don't wait for big opportunities to show their excellence. They show their excellence in small opportunities, and this attracts bigger opportunities. In your personal relationships, excellence means being fully present. Most people are physically present but mentally absent in their relationships. They hear without listening, they talk without communicating, they spend time without investing it. Excellence in relationships means treating each interaction as important. Each conversation is meaningful. Think about your closest relationships right now. Are you bringing your best self to them? Or are you giving them your leftover energy, your divided attention, your conditional presence? Excellence in relationships means being reliable, being truthful, being supportive. Not when it's convenient, but when it's needed. Your relationships aren't just social connections. They're mirrors reflecting your character. The way you treat people who can't do anything for you says more about your excellence than how you treat those who can help you advance. Excellence means being as good as your word, keeping your commitments, showing up when you say you will. Now let's talk about health and well-being. Your body is the only permanent home you'll ever have in this life. Treating it with anything less than excellence is like deliberately damaging your house while living in it. Excellence in health isn't about looking perfect. It's about maintaining the energy and vitality you need to fulfill your purpose. Most people wait until their health becomes a problem before they pay attention to it. That's like waiting for your car to break down before you change the oil. Excellence in health means making decisions today that your future self will thank you for. It means choosing foods that fuel you, not just fill you. It means moving your body regularly, not just when you feel like it. Mental health is equally crucial. Excellence means feeding your mind with quality information, challenging your thinking, growing your understanding. It means managing your emotions instead of letting them manage you. It means maintaining peace of mind, not because life is peaceful, but because you've learned to stay calm in chaos. Financial responsibility is another crucial area where excellence makes the difference between struggling and thriving. Most people handle money emotionally. They spend based on feelings, save based on leftovers, and invest based on hot tips. Excellence in finances means treating money as a tool, not a master. Consider your current financial habits. Are you living within your means? Are you saving systematically? Are you investing wisely? Excellence doesn't require wealth. It requires wisdom. It means knowing the difference between needs and wants, between assets and liabilities, between investing and speculating. The excellent money manager isn't the one who makes the most. It's the one who manages well what they have. They understand that financial responsibility isn't about restricting life. It's about creating freedom. They know that every dollar is a seed that can either be consumed today or planted for tomorrow. In each of these areas, professional, personal, health, and financial, excellence shares common traits. It requires attention to detail. It demands consistency. It calls for long-term thinking. Most importantly, it needs regular maintenance. Excellence isn't a one-time achievement. It's a continuous process. Think about a fine automobile. It doesn't maintain its excellence without regular care. The same applies to your life. Your professional skills need constant updating. Your relationships need regular investment. Your health needs daily attention. Your finances need frequent review and adjustment. Excellence in every area creates a compound effect. When you're excellent in your work, you have more resources for your relationships. When you're excellent in health, you have more energy for your work. When you're excellent with money, you have more freedom to focus on what matters. When you're excellent in relationships, you have more support for all other areas. Remember, this excellence isn't perfection. Perfection paralyzes, excellence motivates. Perfection is about being. Excellence is about becoming. Perfection demands immediate results. Excellence embraces gradual progress. Your goal isn't to be perfect in every area. It's to be consistently improving in every area. Start where you are. Pick one area. Build excellence there. Let success fuel your confidence to tackle other areas. Excellence breeds excellence. When you raise your standards in one area, you'll find it harder to accept mediocrity in others. Make no mistake about it. Respect comes with a price tag. And unlike material things, you can't borrow the money to pay for it. You have to pay the full price yourself up front through your choices and sacrifices. Most people say they want respect, but few are willing to pay its full price. Let's be crystal clear about what you'll need to sacrifice. You'll sacrifice comfort because growth happens outside your comfort zone. You'll sacrifice popularity because doing what's right isn't always doing what's liked. You'll sacrifice immediate pleasures for long-term gains. You'll sacrifice the good opinions of mediocre people who want you to stay mediocre with them. You'll need to sacrifice sleep sometimes to fulfill your commitments. You'll need to sacrifice mindless entertainment to focus on your growth. You'll need to sacrifice the comfort of blending in with the crowd to stand out through excellence. These aren't one-time sacrifices. They're daily choices that compound over time. But here's what most people miss. These aren't really sacrifices at all. They're investments. Every time you choose discipline over convenience, you're investing in your character. Every time you choose what's right over what's easy, you're investing in your integrity. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're investing in your future. Now, about criticism, it's not just possible, it's guaranteed. When you raise your standards, you automatically become a mirror that shows others their own mediocrity. Some won't like what they see. They'll criticize you for being too serious, too focused, or no fun anymore. Understand this? Their criticism is more about their insecurities than your choices. Learn to distinguish between constructive criticism and noise. Constructive criticism comes from people who want you to succeed and have earned the right to speak into your life. Noise comes from people who want you to stay small so they feel better about their own choices. Listen to the first, ignore the second. When criticism comes ye, and it will come ye, remember this, dogs bark at moving cars, not parked ones. If you're getting criticism, it often means you're moving forward. Use it as confirmation that you're making progress. Let it fuel your resolve rather than diminish your spirit. Standing firm on your principles. This is where respect is truly earned. Anyone can talk about their principles when it's easy. But when standing firm costs you something, an opportunity, a relationship, money, that's when your principles become real. That's when respect becomes inevitable. Your principles aren't really principles until they've been tested, until you've had the chance to compromise them and chose not to, until you've lost something by standing firm, until you've been laughed at for holding them. These aren't setbacks. They're opportunities to prove to yourself what you truly stand for. Think about the last time your principles were tested. Maybe it was a chance to take credit for someone else's work. Maybe it was an opportunity to profit from someone else's mistake. Maybe it was a temptation to cut corners when no one would know. How did you respond? Your response in those moments shapes not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. Standing firm doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible. It means being clear about what matters most and making decisions based on those values. It means being willing to bend on preferences but not on principles. It means knowing the difference between what you can compromise on and what you must protect at all costs. Remember this rhyme, EEV, price of respect. The cost of not having it is higher. The sacrifices you make today become the stories people tell about you tomorrow. The criticism you endure becomes the character you build. The principles you stand firm on become the legacy you leave. Pay the price, make the sacrifices, handle the criticism, stand firm on your principles. Because in the end, respect isn't just about what others think of you, it's about what you know about yourself. Everything you do creates ripples in the pond of life. The question isn't whether you'll leave a legacy. You will. The question is what kind of legacy you'll leave. Some people leave ripples of inspiration that lift others higher. Some leave ripples of mediocrity that pull others down. Which ripples are you creating? Legacy isn't what you leave for people. It's what you leave in people. It's not about the money in your bank account or the titles on your wall. It's about the lives you touch, the standards you set, the examples you provide. Every day, you're writing your legacy through your actions, not your intentions. Think about the people who've influenced your life positively. Chances are they didn't set out to be influential. They simply lived with such integrity and purpose that others couldn't help but be inspired. That's the power of example. You don't have to preach excellence. You just have to live it consistently enough that others can't ignore it. Your example speaks louder than your words ever could. When you show up early, you teach punctuality without saying a word. When you finish what you start, you teach reliability without giving a lecture. When you help others without expecting anything in return, you teach generosity without making announcements. Watch what happens when you raise your standards. People around you start raising theirs too. Not because you told them to, but because excellence is contagious. When you refuse to participate in office gossip, others start thinking twice about it. When you consistently deliver quality work, others start questioning their mediocre efforts. But here's something crucial to understand about influence. It's not about trying to change others. It's about being so committed to your own growth that others want to grow too. It's about creating such positive change in your own life that others start believing change is possible in theirs. The ripple effect of respected living goes far beyond what you can see. That junior employee watching how you handle a crisis, they'll remember that 20 years from now when they're in charge. That child observing how you treat people who can't help you. They're learning lessons about character they'll carry for life. Every time you choose integrity over convenience, you make it a little easier for someone else to do the same. Every time you choose excellence over mediocrity, you raise the standards for everyone around you. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you show others what's possible in their own life. Think about the problems you see in society today, the lack of integrity in business, the breakdown of trust in relationships, the acceptance of mediocrity as normal. You can complain about these things, or you can be part of the solution by living differently. Your life can be a standing rebuke to low standards and poor character. Your impact isn't limited to your lifetime. The principles you live by, the standards you maintain, the character you build, these things echo through generations. Someone somewhere is using you as an example, either of what to be or what not to be. Make sure you're providing the right example. We all cast shadows on the lives of others. Make sure your shadow helps them grow, not wither. Make sure your influence lifts them up, not pulls them down. Make sure your example points them toward excellence, not mediocrity. The world doesn't need more successful people who leave a trail of broken relationships and compromised principles. It needs more people who achieve success while maintaining their integrity, who build wealth while building character, who gain influence while staying true to their values. Your life is creating an impact right now. Every choice, every action, every standard you uphold or lower is sending ripples into the future. Make those ripples count. Make them matter. Make them worthy of respect. Let's get practical. All the knowledge in the world means nothing without action. Success isn't built on occasional bursts of inspiration. It's built on daily habits, consistent routines, and small actions repeated faithfully over time. Start your day with purpose, not reaction. Most people wake up and immediately react to the world's demands, checking messages, responding to emergencies, rushing into the day's chaos. But the first hour of your morning sets the tone for your entire day. Own that hour. Create a morning routine that builds momentum. Wake up at the same time every day, yes, even on weekends. Your body and mind need consistency. Spend the first 15 minutes in silence planning your day. Not checking your phone, not watching news. Just thinking clearly about what matters most today. Write down your top 3 priorities for the day. Not a long to-do list that sets you up for failure. Just 3 key things that must happen. This clarity prevents the urgent from crowding out the important. When everything seems urgent, nothing is truly important. Your evening routine is just as crucial. Take 15 minutes before bed to review your day. What went well? What needs improvement? What did you learn? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about honest assessment and continuous improvement. Plan tomorrow before the day ends. Lay out your clothes, prepare your workspace, set up everything you need for your morning routine. Small actions like these remove friction from your path to excellence. They make it easier to do the right thing when your motivation is low. Maintain momentum through micro wins. Don't wait for big victories to celebrate. Acknowledge every small step forward. Completed your morning routine? That's a win. Kept your word in a small matter. Stayed calm in a frustrating situation? That's a win. These small victories compound over time. Create accountability for yourself. Track your habits, rate your days. Keep a simple journal. These aren't just records. They're feedback mechanisms that help you stay on track. When you can see your progress, you're more likely to maintain it. When you slip, and you will slip, Don't have a temporary setback become a permanent failure. Get back on track immediately. Miss your morning routine? Start your evening routine. Miss a day? Start fresh tomorrow. Excellence isn't about perfection. It's about consistency over time. Your daily practices aren't separate from your life. They're your life. They're either building you up or breaking you down. They're either moving you toward excellence or toward mediocrity. There's no neutral ground. Make these practices non-negotiable. They're not something you do when you feel like it. They're something you do because this is who you are. This is how you build a life that commands respect. One day, one choice, one action at a time. Right now, in this moment, you face a choice that will ripple through the rest of your life. Not a choice about what you'll do someday, but about who you'll be today. A choice between accepting life as it comes or creating life as it should be. Between settling for respect that's given and earning respect that's demanded. The truth is simple but profound. Your life will never rise above your standards. The respect you receive will never exceed the respect you've earned through your actions. The impact you make will never outgrow the example you set. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to begin. Stop planning to start tomorrow. Stop preparing to get ready to begin to think about changing. The perfect moment is here. The perfect time is now. The perfect place is where you stand. Take one action right now that aligns with higher standards. Make one choice that reflects the person you're becoming. Start one habit that builds the life you want to create. Not tomorrow, not later, not when you feel ready, now. Here's the final truth. Life doesn't reward good intentions. It doesn't celebrate noble plans. It doesn't respect potential. Life rewards action. It celebrates results. It respects proof. Your life is speaking right now. Make sure it's saying something worth hearing. Make sure it's building something worth remembering. Make sure it's creating something worth respecting. The choice is yours. The time is now. The person you become tomorrow depends entirely on the standards you set today. Now go build a life that demands respect.